Wildfires can be really devastating. They can damage habitat and destroy wildlife. The majority of fires, there's either accidental or intentional human involvement in it. So it could be somebody throwing a cigarette down or having a barbecue and leaving the barbecue behind and that kind of thing. Those are the most common causes.
When we get a moorland fire started by a barbecue, what often happens is that the vegetation first burns, and then if we can't get there quickly and put that fire out, the fire can get down into the peat, which is incredibly flammable, and it can burn for days and days and days underground and spread huge distances and cause a massive amount of damage and erosion. That peat that burns takes hundreds, if not thousands of years to build up. In places it's really thick, but in places it's quite thin, and when it burns it just becomes basically dust and ash, and then the next time it rains we lose that soil and it's gone.
Deeper peat fires can also impact water quality by eroding that peat, so we get more sediment coming into the reservoirs, but we can also get more colour coming into the reservoirs. You can put it in a filter and it'll still come out coloured, so we need to ensure that we remove all of that colour, and we use various chemicals and processes to do that. So an increase in colour increases our treatment costs.
Wildfires can be, extremely damaging to the archaeological environment. So as a wildfire can break through an area, destroying peat through the burning process, then that in turn can lead to erosion issues, whereby you might have a prehistoric settlement site perhaps. You imagine some prehistoric rock art that is visible on Ilkley Moor. The loss of the evidence through wildfires, through general erosion, can erase our knowledge of the way these landscapes were used in the past.
After a fire, it quite quickly looks as though the moorland has recovered, but actually we know that the species that have come back are grass species called Molinia, and that's a really, really dominant grass species that's not great in terms of building peat and in terms of locking away carbon. It actually increases the drying of the peatlands, so again leaving it more vulnerable to fire, and we get into a little bit of a vicious cycle of decline and drying. But we're also losing the variety of habitat for ground nesting birds, things to eat for all the small mammals that live up there, nesting habitat, that kind of thing. All we're left with is this green tussocky grass that's not much use to anyone.
We can all play a part in protecting the natural land in which we stood by not having live flame in the environment, especially when it's dry like this, such as barbecues and fires, and taking as little room. And if we see a fire or anyone that is lighting a fire or having a barbecue, if we can ring 999 and support each other in keeping this such a beautiful place for everyone to go.